Hello, my friend. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to you wherever you are in the world. I am so excited that you're tuning in today. Today is a conversation that's very important, and I would love to have this conversation with you. And before we start, I want to ask my Father in heaven to bless you abundantly. Whether you believe or not, hey, who doesn't want a blessing? I want you to have a blessing upon blessing, good, positive energy to get ready for this week and to win it. My friend, today I want to share a story. And before I dive in, please let me know if you're coming in on live or if you're coming in on replay. I'm just so excited you're here. And as you're coming in, please participate, ask questions, tell me how things are going on for you. I would love to connect and send me a personal message. Let's chat. My name is Jana Masik. I am broadcasting here today on Powering Unique You to help you find ways to empower yourself, to encourage yourself, to love yourself a little bit more, to give yourself some empathy today. And as we do that, I believe we can also encourage others and give empathy and love to others. So today's conversation is really about how do we improve? How can we improve our professional performance and our personal happiness or fulfillment? And I really want to start with a story today. And the story is not really pleasant. I remember I was in the office. I knew I was not on my A game. I knew I was just not the best of who I can be at my work. And there were a lot of things that were contributing to that. There were some, situation, financial circumstances. There were some inner battles of finding, what really matters to me and, which direction I want to take in life. And there were some circumstances and some, I would even say tension at work. And I was not performing my best. And over a short period of time, I could not pull myself up. I could not pull myself up to provide the best I know I can. And I know that I've done before. And on that time, I received a note from my manager, from my boss, that there needs to be a conversation and invitation to the office. So I was really stuck in my stomach and kind of feeling this. I don't know if you've had this situation where you know something's not right, but you can't really figure out what to do. And that conversation did not go well because, I was given a counseling. I was given, a coaching, somewhat of a type of a coaching, but basically I was told that I'm not performing well, that I am not doing best that I could, and some observations from the outside. Gosh, it was hard to swallow that pillow. It was just hard to swallow that pill. It was hard to realize that's not just my inner senses that things are off, but it's also come to me as a feedback. And at first, your fight and flight is you want to blame, you want to find excuses, you want to figure out how to escape, But I didn't say much during that conversation. I just felt I needed to think about think about all of that, and give back my response to that conversation in a more calmer way. Because at that time, my heart was pumping up. I was so nervous. I was so much in a negative emotion. And it was really hard for me to think logically. And if you know anything about neuroscience and brain, when you're in the fight or flight, when you're in your reptilian zone of the brain, your prefrontal lobe, which your genius, your best self, is just shut off. Because at that point, your brain is giving you a signal that the bear is upon you and about to eat you. So you either have to flight or fight or run away. And it was tough. It was really tough. And if you have had that experience, it's not easy to talk about that. It's not easy to digest that. And maybe it's with your manager, you've had that conversation, or sometimes it's in our relationship, we have that conversation where we know we're not performing well. But professionally, especially professionally, because I feel we give so much professionally. Most of the adults, I feel, are so invested in our careers and performing great and performing our best, that it's so hard. It's so hard. And the first is like, I give up. They don't respect me in this place. I'm just going to run away. I'm just going to go find another job and just put my notice on the plate. But was it the most rational? Again, it was not my best self that was thinking. It was that flight and fight response that was thinking. And I had to go take a long, long walk. I had to go and just remove yourself from the situation. For me, as a believer, I had to pray. For you, I do not know what your experience was, or maybe in the future, if you find yourself in that circumstances, just look at the nature, meditate, just talk to yourself, tell yourself that you're still a good human. And I think that is very hard parallel to when you given a notice that you're not performing well, or a warning that your performance is not that great. And at the same time, when you experience being laid off, being fired, whether it was performance related or not, you have these feelings that you're an inadequate human, that you're flawed, that you're not good enough, and that you can't preserve yourself or show yourself the best that you can be. In that moment, you start doubting your self-worth. I was doubting my self-worth. And I see my friends here, Jamie saying hello, Jana. So good to have you, Jamie. You're such a friend. You're such a champion. You always support. Great topic and lessons. I can't wait to share more today. It's going to be a great lesson. Impressive session, Mohammed. Thank you so much. And stay tuned. We're going to talk more about how to do that, how to improve it. So when you find yourself in that dreadful situation, in a difficult situation, have a difficult conversation with your professional superior, or you've been laid off, and how do you rebuild? I think when you're laid off, it's a different situation. But when you are being reprimanded or warned for your performance or behavior or something like that at work, it just gives you that sense that, how do I rebuild? How do I rebuild the trust? How do I rebuild the relationship? How do I continue in this environment that seemed to be at that time kind of a hostile? It's hard. It is hard, let's admit, even if it's given in a very positive and enthusiastic way, depending on what kind of feedback you're getting, of course. And at the same time, even if we receive it in a positive way, it's still hard, because you have to reflect on what's going on really inside of you. And I could tell you that finding excuses about this and that, and our mind goes very well about framing excuses for ourselves, is not going to be very helpful. Finding blaming somebody else is not going to be very helpful. It's not going to help you improve. So what really is going to help you improve is to take responsibility, find that core to say, let me look at myself. Let me look at what is going on. Let me gain deeper awareness and figure out, how can I take responsibility and perhaps not blame myself and beat myself so much, but how can I take responsibility to shift, to pivot, to reinvent myself? And that is a lot to reinvent in the situation with performance, professional performance. So I would say, I encourage you, whether you have had warning, whether you are currently on the warning, or you are seemingly to be okay, but you received, maybe you had your performance review, a couple months ago, and you kind of reflecting on how can you improve. Maybe you're in a good place, maybe you are on a steady progress, but you haven't been promoted, or you haven't been giving that raise that you wanted for. So you're thinking, okay, I'm in a good place, but how can I get on a track to go steady on improving my performance? And I want to touch on that, but I also want to touch on personal happiness. Gosh, this is so important, my friend. This is so important. And to me, when I was chasing the corporate ladder, recognition, achievement in my job, I almost felt like something is missing deep inside, because I felt like I didn't have much fun in life. I felt like I was not really as happy. I seemed to be good, positive person, but I just sensed kind of there's not much deeper happiness. What is going on there? And I think a lot of people, we just try to survive a lot of times. You might live paycheck to paycheck, especially right now in this crazy world we're in. Trying to survive, trying to meet the ends is like, wait, what are you talking about happiness? I'm just trying to put the bread on the table. I'm trying to feed my kids and my family and survive and pay the mortgage and try to have a roof on my above my head. So it's though I think it's important, as you want to take an ownership in your performance in your career and how you want to move forward with your job, with your business, in your career, and whatever you are doing professionally. It is equally important for you to take responsibility of your personal happiness, fulfillment, finding what that really means to you, to be alive, to feel alive, to feel the aliveness every day, not just dread the day, to wake up in the morning and say, oh my goodness, another day, Monday, oh, Monday is a horrible day. No, let's shift that perspective. And sometimes we have these lies in the back of our mind saying that it's if you achieve this, or if you arrive to this, or if you get this, or if you get your next promotion, or if you get your next raise, you will be happy. And that's a big lie, because it robs you of the present day and the present moment. Jamie saying, I've learned to take the positive out of negative experience and learn to grow from it. I love it. This is so admirable. It's easy to point fingers. It is so easy to point fingers. And I want to talk about the framework today, that you see this picture. And I want to, before I dive into framework, I want to encourage you to rate yourself. Okay, it's so good to do self-rating, self-awareness. So rate yourself of where you are on your professional performance. From 0, or you're like, oh, I'm just barely dragging my feet. I'm just barely getting up and moving along. I'm just not even able to survive at this point, and I hope you're not there. And 10 is like, hey, I'm on my A game. I'm consistently doing and delivering great results. I am just the best self I can be. Professionally, I am genius, awesome, fantastic. So rate yourself where you are from 0 to 10. Give yourself a rating. And what would you do to improve that? What would it take you to improve that? Okay. And then rate yourself on your personal happiness. From 0, you're just a miserable, unhappy, frustrated, agitated, irritated person. You're just not loving your life. You hate it, and you hate everybody, hate yourself. Please get yourself out of that funk. And it's okay if you're there. And I want to give you encouragement and grace. I've been there, where I've contemplated, what's this life is worth for? I think we all sometimes hit those deep, dark moments, but don't stay there. And don't tell yourself that you're a worthless person. You are not. You're worthy. You're worthy of love. You're worthy of empathy. And much more importantly, worthy of self-love. So stop beating yourself if you find yourself in the low trenches, and start encouraging yourself to move up forward. Or 10, you're the happiest, you're the optimistic, enthusiastic person. If you find yourself somewhere in the middle, think, what would it take you to move up, to improve that score. So a little bit of self-awareness, rate that and think about it, give yourself a few minutes. And I want to take on and dive into framework. And a framework will be 3 steps. Really amazing, that has shifted my perspective and has helped me so much. And that's why I wanted to come in and share that with you. I do not know if you've heard about positive intelligence or not. And if you have, I'm happy. Learn more about that. And if you have not heard about that at all, I would say I'll give you a little bit of a glimpse, and it's really impressive framework. So it's a framework to say that you have the first step is to identify your judge. The judge is self-judge that each one of us have in the back of our mind that is judging you constantly, not doing good enough, you're not being enough, you're just a stupid person, you're not gonna move forward. So judging you constantly, that judge voice. And then it judges others. Oh, that person is just not good enough, or that person is this and that. And the judging your circumstances. Oh, my circumstances is not good enough. I'm not going to get out of here. I'm just stuck. So the judge is constantly giving you negative emotion, negative talk, negative judgments. And then the judge has 9 saboteurs. Saboteurs are those voices or personas in the back of your mind that also give you this negative emotion, negative feedback, bring you into distress, self-beating, self-doubts. Look up positive intelligence. They give you an opportunity to take a free assessment of what saboteurs you have. Really interesting details, really interesting information. So check that out. So I would say learning who your saboteurs are, your main saboteurs, and also learning your judge is so crucial for you to understand how to pivot from staying in the low scores of your performance to the higher scores. Because the more you listen to the judge and your saboteurs, the more your performance is going to be sabotaged. So then you have to look at what is the other positive side of it. And the other positive side of it is your sage. And your sage represents your wise best self, who is telling you how to navigate through life, how to move forward optimistically, how to explore what is happening in your life and change every circumstances, like Jamie said, negative, positive, whatever circumstances you're in, into gift and opportunity. So the sage is giving you a different perspective, and it has powers, 5 powers to help you figure out how to empathize with yourself, how to take action, what is the best action, how to explore, how to enthusiastically look and say, how can I invent something here in this situation? How can I figure out the way to improve and grow? So knowing your sage and knowing how your sage operates is so important as well. And it's all in the back of your mind. It's really a mind game. It's really interesting framework. It's really interesting way of talking to yourself and finding this inner conversation is how to shift from negative to positive. And something that I really like, the person who put together this framework, Shirzad Shamin, he's shared this story that he said, when you touch the hot stove, how long do you need to hold your hand on the stove to realize that you're burning, that you're hurting? A split second, right? But when you face a difficult circumstances and you get this flood of negative emotions, how long those emotions need to dwell in you to realize that you need to change, you need to pivot. So like the saying, you change your behavior, you put your hand off the hot stove because it's telling you, hey, it's pain, it's unnecessary. It's going to be silly that you just, keep it on the hot stove, say, no, I have to feel it a little bit more. But when it comes to the negative emotion that affect our performance and our happiness, a lot of times we let those emotions dwell in us, and we chew on them and we chew on them. And then it just sabotages our life, our performance and our happiness. So when you realize there's a negative emotion, let's say like you got a negative feedback, find a way, and this is coming to third point. So first you have a judge and you have saboteurs. Second, you have sage with the sage powers. And third, you have a power, your personal power of self-command to command yourself to switch from that negative hot stove feelings and switch it to the positive sage perspective in your mind, to give yourself an empowerment to shift this situation into gift and opportunity. It's a really powerful framework. I have just gone through the 6 weeks training. I'd say it really has affected in the way how I'm looking at not just my performance professionally, and now that I'm running my own business, my own show, it's a different perspective, right? But also, how do I look at my happiness? How do I look at my relationships? And that is so important, my friend. That is so important. So self-command, what I tell you briefly, is really an opportunity for you to center yourself, to quiet the voices of the saboteurs and bring in the sage, which is your prefrontal lobe, your place in your mind that gives you an opportunity to really impressively change the situation. And that is phenomenal. My friend, I'm so excited to share this with you, so that way you can also get an encouragement from that. And the self command is really giving you an opportunity to learn ways of breathing, calming down, sensing your senses, sensing your hearing through those little different ways and exercises you can activate and improve your perspective and shift it into sage. So, my friend, you might hear my little one in the back. That is a life of a mom, a live broadcast of a mom here. She's not unhappy there with my oldest son. And I'm going to go tackle her, and hopefully she'll be happy in a minute. But for you, my dear friend, for you, I hope this framework gave you a little bit of insight. So if nothing else, I encourage you to learn a little bit more about it. I will also be sharing more. I'm actually going into getting certified into certification on this program and to this framework, and we'll be sharing more with you. If you're interested to learn more about that, send me a note. I'll be happy to chat with you and give you more details on this. Very powerful. Again, you do not have to stay in a situation where you are. You do not have to blame yourself. You do not have to be discouraged and give up upon yourself. Please don't do. You can change. You can shift. You can pivot at any given moment. And you have the power to do that. Take responsibility for your happiness. Don't expect somebody's going to bring it to you on a silver plate. Take responsibility for your performance. And this is how you can improve your life. This is how you can improve your professional performance. Go get for that raise. Go chase that, validation, achievement, and better title, better compensation. Give yourself fire. Get yourself fired up and say, hey, I can do that. I can go and figure it out and perform the best I can and go chase for this next promotion or a better job or a better compensation, whatever it is that you want to dream about professionally. And then personally, tell yourself, hey, I can figure out how to be happy. Let me maybe journal a little bit, maybe figure out what is that you've buried so much under your responsibility and start feeling alive. What is going to keep you and bring you feel alive again? Find that hobby, find that spark, find that joy again, and feel alive and fuel that personal happiness, my friend. It's with you. So, Jamie, I can't grow until you have a strong, sturdy base. I found spiritual balance was the piece I was missing. Helped me tremendously to know that I can fail and it is okay. I agree, Jamie. It's really good to have a strong foundation. I do believe spiritual foundation is important. And it is giving you that solid framework to say, yes, it's okay to fail. We all fail. And it's okay to get up, forgive ourselves, forgive others, and move forward. And I'd say anybody can find this, and anybody can approach and experience that. The power is ours. The power is yours, my friend. So I hope this has been an inspirational episode for you. I hope it has given you a perspective. I hope it has given you an encouragement. My friend, you've got it. Pat yourself, give yourself high five, tell yourself, look in the mirror and say, you are worthy. You are worthy of your own love, your own encouragement, empathy, cheer yourself up today, my friend, and go get it. Go win this game. It's all mental. You can do that. Go get your performance up, your happiness up, and enjoy your life. I'm so happy you're here, and I will see you again next week. Until then, keep powering unique you.